just take our viewers through what exactly was said by both these leaders on the Middle East. First, Zoran Mamdani and also Donald Trump.
You accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do. I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Rohit, if we just look at some of the remarks that's been made by Zoran Mamdani and his body language, as well as you've been constantly telling us about this very picture that we're playing out for our viewers as well, there's definitely a change of tonality. But one might also say, especially with what he said about Middle East now, there's a subtlety with regards to how he's putting forward his stance now. And I think that comes in with the position that he has taken over at this given point. But it might also, one might also say that it's also a display of very good statesmanship.
Absolutely, and look, President Trump, and to his credit, and I would say this, and we know this for a fact that in private he has, in publicly today also, he has appreciated Zoran's campaign and how he ran, and he always appreciates people who talk well, who can again dodge questions, construct answers that not lead to, or what a lot of people say is word salads, right? So I think he's always been a fan of those people within his party and across the aisle as well. Today, as surprise to many, also appreciated Bernie Sanders, who is the oldest, I guess, socialist in the Democratic Party. So I think it is the tonality, as you said. And if you look at the entire, the press conference with both the leaders in the Oval Office, both of them, and not much as President Trump, but I think Zoran did definitely, dodge questions. He made it everything about New Yorkers, even ending this war. He said, look, if we don't spend those dollars in funding a war, then those dollars could be put to use for New Yorkers. So very different Zoran Mamdani from what people had voted for. And if we were to step back and look at things, I mean, it makes sense because he wants to deliver for New Yorkers, and the only way he can do it is by having a great connection with the White House, because this is where all the funding is controlled, and he needs a lot of funding to meet his promises. So I think he's understanding his role now as the mayor-elect and mayor on January, and he will have to do certain things which may not appeal to a lot of voters, but then definitely if he can deliver on those promises, he does have another election to run in 4 years, and I think that's where he's headed.
Absolutely, Rohit. This is definitely an interesting start to a journey for Zoran Mamdani. Zoran Mamdani's political journey at this given point. But Rohit, do stay with us.